I'm about to drop the link real quick once it gets ready. All right, you ready, Dallas?
Yep.
Give me just one moment.
Of course.
What shit? Shit. Oh shoot.
It's okay. I did it last week. You ready, special guest?
Uh,
You need me to send you the link?
no, I got it. Let's go.
Okay. Welcome back. It is SMC Show, episode 17. Dallas, I gotta ask, have you seen the video?
Yes.
You've seen the video. I think the people at home need to see the video. So we have the world premiere today, and the reunition of a true legend of the SMC Show. Ladies and gentlemen, oh wait, I gotta stop the share so you guys can't see something. Just kidding. I have to click to the link. Ladies and gentlemen, the epic bro moments, unfortunately, have been provided on this week's episode.
Is it my turn? Hi, my name's Austin Anderson.
Look at this dude.
Any of you guys not picking the Buccaneers to win the NFC are foolish. The face I'm making over here, where you guys are picking the Eagles.
No.
You can clip this. I will wear a JT Barrett jersey on across the board if the Eagles make the Super Bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, the prodigal son of the SMC Show has returned.
But I forgot. Yo, what is going on, everybody? You know what it is and what it does. The champ is here. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back. Guess what? Biggest Ohio State fan out there. No one likes them more than me. As you can see, JT Barrett did make it across the line. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get the show going, boys.
All righty. Well, we are back. We had a lot happen in this week. We are glad to have, though, Austin Anderson back after his hiatus since episode number 4, I believe. I did look it up. It was episode 4. It was the episode where he made his self-proclaimed Eagles will not make the Super Bowl claim, picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to make the Super Bowl. It's okay. Me and Dallas were right. He's just now willing to admit it. The JT Barrett jersey was out of the budget of the show. Unfortunately, you know, as being college kids, we all can't afford JT Barrett jerseys. But we got a lot to talk about today. The first thing is the end of an era, as Austin sadly proclaimed. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be playing in a Super Bowl, but it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be no more of, as Tom Brady has officially announced retirement as of Thursday morning. He took to Instagram to provide a statement saying that he has loved the game of football and is officially now retiring. I will not believe it until I see it. He may be back. But speaking of that, on the NFL's note, the NFL playoffs did wrap up, and we are now set for a Super Bowl matchup of the Eagles and the Chiefs. Stay tuned next week. We're going to give in-depth coverage on that. But today, I thought we'd have a little interesting, show. We're going to have what I like to call the SMC NFL Season Award Show. As everyone has had their self-proclaimed hatred for the NFL award show and how biased they are with some of the picks, we are taking the bias out of it today, and we're making our own picks. So, as in true SMC show fashion, we are going to pick the unsung heroes of the NFL first. Remember, I'm going to say this. We all have to agree on the answer here. Arguments may happen, but arguments are fun. The first, like I said, the unsung heroes are the coaches of the season. Number one, gentlemen, who's our coach of the season here on the SMC NFL show, and provide your answer. It doesn't need to be a head coach because the next question, the next award will kind of fix the problem of what I'm saying there.
So it doesn't need to be a head coach.
This needs to be a head coach. The next one is
Okay.
assistant coach of the season. So,
to show my bias a bit here, I think it should be Dan Campbell. I think it's kind of sad that he didn't get nominated in the first place, but that's just me.
the real hearts out here.
The biggest in-season turnaround of any of the teams with a winning record. Come on. He maximized his team's win percentage a bunch with his fourth down decision making. He was super creative with offense. I think they had the third highest drop back EPA per play over the whole year. So a really high powered offense. And I don't know. First winning season since 2017, I think. I think Dan Campbell deserves to be the coach of the year because he changed. I'm now actually kind of confident in Detroit. So there we go.
Dallas, I'd like to hear your decisions. Who are you fighting for in this conversation?
Well, there was a few coaches I liked, but one that comes to mind is Doug Peterson and what he turned Jacksonville into later on in the season. I think that showed what their potential could be for the future years. He really helped Trevor Lawrence develop this year, especially without Urban Meyer there. Trevor was awful last year, but showed his potential this year. Give me Doug Peterson as my coach of the year.
God, I'm gonna make this really concerning. I'm not gonna pick either of your coaches, gentlemen. I'm gonna go with a man who's also in his first year of coaching for his new team. He is an NFC. It is Brian Daboll and the New York Giants. I thought he was kind of in the same picturesque form as both other coaches. A team that struggled. But they kind of found their footing towards the end of the season. Had a great end of the season, knocking off a team that people on the show, Rishi Chandran, who is not here with us today, thought was going to be amazing. The 13-4 Vikings, but looking at it, I think this team was pretty impressive in a division of very, very tough and stiff competition all season. They seemed to kind of step above. They had the 16th best strength of schedule all season. So, they didn't have easy games, but they also had a lot of hard games. And he made Daniel Jones look like a top 5 quarterback occasionally. So I think Brian Daboll is my pick. It's tough to decide here between, who I will say, looking at the Giants record, from 2017 to 2022, they were 3-13 in 2017, 5-11 in 2018, 4-12 in 2019, 6-10 in 2020, and 4-13 in 2021. So to go 9-7-1, I'm just saying.
I can be swayed to Doug Peterson. I will not be swayed to Brian Daboll. I think that I just think that the stability, the year-to-year improvement that Jacksonville showed with simply just having a competent head coach, allowing Trevor Lawrence to like catch fire at the end of the year. Like he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks over the second half of the season. He was great. I personally prefer Doug Peterson just because he's more of a fourth down Andy than Brian Daboll is. So that's I'm changing to Doug Peterson.
I'm giving
agree.
Dougie P. Dougie P gets the head coach of the year award. Dallas had a great argument. But now on to, I believe, one of the most enjoyable conversations and more of an unsung hero, assistant coach of the year.
Okay, it's
Who
only
do we
like
have?
it's only 2. Like it's either Ben Johnson or D'Amico Ryans. Like, right?
What? No Shane Steichen or
Shane Spikeman. Shout out to
Jonathan
Robert.
Gannon. No Jonathan Gannon here.
I don't even know who that is. I've heard the
That's
name. I don't know who he is.
The Eagles defensive coordinator. Come on, man. So who'd like to start out the conversation here?
Okay, I do think it is Ben Johnson because when you look at like D'Amico Ryans, that defense was loaded, with talent. And you look at, obviously the Lions had a good offensive line, but like Jared Goff played bad last year. They only had one dependable wide receiver the entire year. They had like no good tight ends. And the fact that they were able to field an offense that was creative, forward thinking, and also insanely efficient, I think it's a big, because when I like D'Amico Ryans, I think obviously he achieved a lot, but I don't think he overachieved as much according to expectation as Ben Johnson did. Because I don't think, like, you could have penciled 49ers top 5 defense this year in your bingo card, and no one would have batted that. But like
number 1 defense by weighted DVOA. I just
You're like, the best defense. But I don't think you would have said like Detroit Lions top 5 passing attack.
Well, I think the Detroit Lions are actually an interesting conversation because they're a top 5 offense in DVOA, but they're a 31st defense in DVOA. So I like Ben Johnson. I'm gonna give you that one. I'm a fan. I think he was a good guy.
Plus, who calls a hook and ladder on 2nd and 17 to eliminate the Packers from the playoffs? That's my goat right there.
I'm gonna go with Ben Johnson. I believe D'Amico Ryans might come up in further conversation. Just for me personally, But I'm going to agree. I think Ben Johnson probably ends up getting my nod for assistant coach of the year. Dallas, do you have anyone off the board here that you're feeling is a strong candidate?
No, I'm in agreement. Ben Johnson here. When you take Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond and make them look like serviceable receivers in the league, I think you're doing a pretty good job.
And DJ Chark.
Chark, baby. That's my guy right there.
I think DJ Chark is one of the most underrated receivers in the league if he's healthy. He hasn't been really healthy since the year he had in Jacksonville, where he went over 1,000 yards, and that's what I think his potential could be if he stays healthy.
I just wanted to be noted, also looking at their league rank offense, they were 5th in points for, 4th in yards, 1st in turnovers. That was kind of concerning.
A lot.
Yeah, but they were 6th in first downs. They were 11th in attempts per game and 8th in passing yards per game. So Jared Goff is a serviceable quarterback as well. I mean, just looking at their season, like they just had some just straight barn burners of games. I mean, they opened the first game up. How many points did they put up on the Eagles? Because it was a lot.
I think it was like 35, 31.
Yeah, because it was a 38-35. And
38-35. And then they scored 45 against the Seahawks.
I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, the first 4 games, I'm going to tell you how many points the Lions scored. 35, 36, 24, and 45. They put up 24 on Minnesota. Then they did get blanked by New England. But I mean, like we said about the Dan Campbell conversation, they were 1-6 going into week 7 or going into week 8. So for them to even get close to running the playoffs, I think it's pretty impressive. I think Ben Johnson probably should have gone and got a head coaching job this year. Personally,
not yet. Give him a couple more years.
Colts could have used him. But now on to the never-ending debate of the NFL's history in the awards, the MVP race. Now, I just want this to be noted. Behind this question, I have best quarterback of the year, offensive player of the year, non-quarterbacks. So use that with a grain of salt. A grain of salt.
Best quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Very
Well, we're going
controversial.
MVP first.
Okay.
MVP first. Who is the most valuable player to an organization?
If we strip away positional value, or the most valuable player to obviously Patrick Mahomes. I don't see how anybody could say it was otherwise. He lost his best receiver, and he went back to being God mode. He led the Chiefs led the NFL in EPA per play by a country mile on offense. It's got to be give me Patrick.
The MVP this year it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. So give me Patrick Mahomes. I'll have a different answer for best quarterback, but give me Patrick Mahomes for MVP.
I can buy it. Okay.
I'm also in on the Patrick Mahomes. Oh, there's Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hi. Sorry for being late.
Good.
We're doing the NFL SMC award show. We've already gone over coach of the season. We gave it to Doug Peterson. We did assistant coach Ben Johnson. We're currently on MVP, but just to give you some heads up, we do have best quarterback and then offensive player of the year, non-quarterbacks. So, but right now we've had a three-way agreement on Patrick Mahomes. Do you think Patrick Mahomes is an MVP for this season?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any question about it.
Okay, well, that was a very quick one. Now, this is my next question, gentlemen. Do we say for best quarterback, is Patrick Mahomes not allowed to be in the best quarterback if he won the MVP?
I think that there was only one quarterback who was more efficient on a throw-for-throw basis than Patrick Mahomes was, but Mahomes had the volume, so a lot of his WAR, his EPA per play, or his total EPA generated, I think that gets slanted towards him because he led the NFL in passing yards and his volume was really high. But I think there was only one quarterback who was better on a throw-for-throw basis than Patrick Mahomes. Who is? Guess. I want you guys to guess.
I'm going Joe Burrow.
It would be Joe Burrow, yes.
And that would be my best quarterback in the season. I had to throw a little Bengal bias in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just go through Patrick Mahomes' or Joe Burrow's NFL Next Gen stats, just to give people a reference. 35 touchdowns to 12 interceptions with an 100.8 quarterback rating throughout the year, and a plus minus 2.2% completion rate, which means he's completing 2% more of his passes. The only people above him are Jalen Hurts, who started all season, and Geno Smith. So just saying personally. And I don't think anyone. No, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen tied in touchdowns, but Josh Allen threw 2 more interceptions. So I'm going to agree on Joe Burrow as well. I thought he was the best quarterback of the year. I thought he led a very good Bengals offense, a very efficient Bengals offense. And he definitely showed it in the playoff game. I felt they kind of got a little gypped, but I don't want to argue with the NFL here. So, what happens. The Eagles are going to kill them anyways. But that's for next week's show. But I think Joe Burrow is my nomination for best quarterback.
And I'm going to have to jump on the bandwagon. I think
groupthink.
Now, Joe Burrow is probably the second best quarterback in the league, in my opinion.
That's true. It's so true.
When I watch him, and he just has something about him that's different. He's different than everybody else, and it's fun to watch. He makes the Bengals fun to watch. They have man, I'm a Colts fan. Do you know how badly I want the Bengals offense on my team? I would take all of them. I would take that entire squad. Well, maybe not Joe Mixon after that, but that's what happened today. But everybody else, I take them. Tyler Boyd would be our best receiver. So,
T. Higgins is
better
a
than Tyler Boyd.
T. Higgins is a number one wide receiver on any other team you put him in the NFL.
Absolutely.
So we've been unanimous so far, guys. There's not been a lot of conversation other than coach of the season. We disagreed on coach of the season to start. But now we are on to the offensive player of the year. Reminder, no quarterbacks are allowed to be picked here because I hate the NFL where they pick like 4 quarterbacks and they're like, oh, these guys are the offensive player of the year. No. So I want some true nitty gritty players that we all love this season that were deserving of offensive player of the year.
All right. I've got my 2. I'm ready.
It's
I might
only
get a-
one, but
I thought it was 2.
We could. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to give us 2 because I think the rules are it's got to be a running back and a wide receiver.
Got it.
I got my
Never
2 then.
Oh.
I can go first.
Okay.
I have, if you're going to put it 2, if it was 1, I'd have Justin Jefferson. But if we're doing wide receiver and running back, give me Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs. Raiders used Josh Jacobs so much this year. And obviously in the final year of his contract, he was very efficient this year and basically was their offense. And it's surprising to say when they get Devontae Adams and have such a good offense, but the injuries really struggled them on the offensive side with Waller and Renfro. So they really leaned on Jacobs this year. So Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs.
All right. I know my 2. Give me Tyreek Hill and give me Trent Williams. Those are my 2 picks.
Offensive tackle love?
Mm-hmm.
Offensive tackle love.
It's ridiculous. He's been the best offensive tackle over the past 5 years, and he's gotten like 0 awards besides like Pro Bowls and stuff. He deserved it last year. He was the best player in the NFL last year. So this is kind of, I guess we'll give this as a lifetime achievement award for Trent Williams. But I think that the best tackle in the NFL does deserve some love in the offensive player of the year race. And then I know it's controversial. Justin Jefferson did have all the yards and stuff, but I think that Tyreek Hill was more efficient on a per route basis, and he is still
actually Justin Jefferson was more efficient on a per route basis. I just want that to be noted.
So we're pulling out the stats now. Okay. Oh
yeah, his
you don't want to get me back in
over
my bag.
reception. His plus minus over expected yak over per reception was 0.7 better. He missed Tyreek Hill's catch rate by like 0.3, and he also had 9 more receptions than Tyreek Hill and almost had the same target rate. And Tyreek Hill did get better separation, but Tyreek Hill also got more cushion. Tyreek Hill got more cushion.
Oh, okay. So we're just spreading misinformation online now. Tyreek Hill had a higher yard per route run than Justin Jefferson by 0.5. He was the only person in the NFL with a figure over 3, which is like the god number, you know. I'm trying to see what their passer rating when targeted was. Let me see. Tyreek Hill. I'll give it up. Where the heck is he? Justin Jefferson did have a higher passer rating when targeted, but Tyreek Hill was targeted farther down the field, had a lower drop rate, more missed tackles forced. Plus the revolving door at quarterback for the Dolphins this year. I'd prefer Tyreek Hill personally.
Where did Tyreek Hill get most of his receptions from, though? Tua gave him a good majority of those.
Oh my God, are we doing this again, dude?
Those deep bombs, they could throw a deep bomb. When Tua can throw the ball 60 yards, you can just chuck it down there to him. Kirk Cousins cannot do that. Justin Jefferson was more efficient with Kirk Cousins compared to Tua Tagovailoa.
Just give me. I'd rather have Tyreek Hill on my team. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm going to let Adam give his nomination since he's been picked up last the past few times. So, who do you got?
Does it have to be a running back and a wide receiver?
No, I think I threw offensive line in there. Maybe we can even go tight ends because I feel like tight ends have provided a lot of value this year. So, this is it's truly offensive player of the year. Like I said, just no quarterbacks because I hate quarterbacks.
No
getting
quarterbacks. That's
snubbed.
the only rule.
Agreed. Okay, well, then I'm gonna join in on the Tyreek Hill hype train.
Let's go. He
I'm
gets
gonna
it, bro.
join in on the Tyreek Hill hype train, and I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce.
I can
That's my
respect it.
second pick. You know, like Travis Kelce is one of my favorite players to watch. His podcast is a good listen to, by the way, with his brother. But he's one of my favorite players to watch. Like he just is always so dominant and just unstoppable. Reminds me of how Gronk used to be. The Patriots winning Super Bowls, and Gronk was leading the league in touchdowns. Like he's just insane. And like I know they lost Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce became like the number one man and like just was a perfect fit for it. And Justin Jefferson, I mean, if you can get 1,800 yards with Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to you, that's pretty good, right? But I do just think that Tyreek Hill is a once in like a generational type talent. Like I don't know if we'll ever see somebody that fast, just in doing everything so quickly and so perfectly, just completely unguardable. He makes it a lot easier. I'm just saying that he makes it a lot easier for Tua. Like,
I feel fair
and
there.
I love watching the Dolphins offense with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and Tua when they're out there. And, you know, Tyreek Hill still got 1,700 yards, and he didn't play with Tua for every single game. He played with a couple backups and still.
When you can throw a bubble screen against the Patriots, you're going to get like 20 yards every time.
Well, yeah, you got a point there.
Can you prove that, Alex? I want to see the proof.
I've seen it.
You've seen, both of you have seen it. I know you've seen those little bubble screens, those little dink and dunks where they get out.
Why are we hating on Tyreek Hill for actually having an offensive like an offensive coach who knows how to call plays for him? You know,
we can say the same thing about the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell does the exact same thing. I am actually. You guys have kind of slayed me to Tyreek Hill, so I am going to take Tyreek Hill. I know I was a hater at the beginning, but
plus
you guys
Justin
made a valid
Jefferson's
point.
ugly.
I am going to make an actual argument for a running back, not named Josh Jacobs. In a pass predicated offense, this running back had quite literally one of the best seasons in the NFL.
Oh yeah,
on an
I know who you're going to say.
expiring deal. He's going to be a free agent this year with 1,269 yards and a run efficiency of a 3.47. The only person he was behind is Josh Jacobs. But think about it. The Raiders sucked, so they ran a lot. He had 112 rushing yards over expected, averaging 4.9 yards. He's averaging more yards than Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, almost averaging more than Christian McCaffrey, and had 11 rushing touchdowns. Miles Sanders. My man was out here. He was running he was running crazy for a while.
Not gonna lie, I did not think you were gonna say Miles Sanders. I thought you were going to say Tony Pollard.
I thought he was going to say Austin Eckler.
No, I'm giving Miles Sanders this because Miles Sanders literally had like a breakout season. Like if you look at him, like if you look at the Miles Sanders years 1 through 3, you're like, this is terrible. And then year 4, he comes in and just, hauls this team. And he has been so crucial to them being able to get to the Super Bowl, I think, because he's allowed them to not be like a one-dimensional team. And you saw it against the Giants when they played the Giants. You saw it against the 49ers when they're not like a one-dimensional team and you can run and you have 3 really efficient running backs that you can swap in and out. Like Miles Sanders showed on a lot of different occasions that he can do the things against. There's only 3 running backs that and Next Gen Stats has higher than him. It's Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, it's 4, Nick Chubb, and Saquon Barkley. But then he beats Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey. He beats Tony Pollard. You look at the guys he's beating. If you told me a year later, he beats Austin Eckler, this is going to be the most efficient Miles Sanders season we have seen from a running back. And this team's in the Super Bowl with the record they have. He kind of deserves a conversation.
All right, big fella. I'll let you have that one. I no.
I mean, I think Saquon deserves more of a conversation than Miles Sanders. I mean, he's basically the Giants' whole team.
I
Pretty
think Tony
much.
Pollard was better than him. Josh Jacobs,
Nick Chubb.
Saquon, Nick Chubb was definitely better.
Derrick Henry was second in the
But
league rush yards.
no, this is my
Henry.
point. If think about some of those teams, they are one-dimensional offenses. Tennessee, one-dimensional. Cleveland, one-dimensional.
Okay, I'll give it up.
Las Vegas was one-dimensional this year, other than Devontae Adams. They're a one-dimensional team. The Giants kind of floated between being one-dimensional and like really good. Minnesota, kind of one-dimensional. They couldn't get the run going very well, and then they did. It was like spurts. They only had spurts where like 3 or 4 games they put together. The only guy I think I might put in the conversation as like actually he's my candidate for something else later on, but I'm Miles Sanders. So now we have to vote on our second offensive player of the year.
Because I think we all picked somebody different, right?
The nominations were Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Travis Kelce, and Trent Williams.
I can vote for Travis Kelce. I can change to Travis Kelce.
I'll hop in on Kelsey. He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot play zone coverage against him. He will find the soft spot, and Patrick Mahomes will just laser it to him. It's yards, everything.
All right, I'm gonna vote Travis Kelce as well.
Let's go.
No matter how much I hate Travis Kelce and that team, he's so good. He just deserves it. I did do DPOY as pick two as well. So it, like we did on the last one, pick whatever position on defense. Since I feel like defense definitely doesn't get as much love as they should, you know, why not give us some defensive love? Who was your 2 defensive players of the year? I just want someone whoever would like to go first, knock yourself out here.
I feel like it's easy for defensive player of the year. It's like always goes to edge rushers, you know, because they have the numbers that you can track, which is, I'll probably give my first one to Myles Garrett, even though that's kind of like, I kind of snark at that, you know. I think he was the best pass rusher in the NFL this year. He kind of got buried on a badish Browns team, but I think he was the best pass rusher. And then, given the all-encompassing importance of coverage in today's NFL, I actually want to give Sauce Gardner my second defensive player of the year award because I think he was the best coverage player this year. So you got your best pass rusher, you got your best coverage player. Those are my picks.
Was Myles Garrett the best pass rusher this season?
What are you gonna look at, like sacks and stuff? Some
Are you
normie
gonna
stats?
Yeah, but are you going to look at guys who didn't play all season and tell me that Nick Bosa sitting at 18 and a half sacks, who played missed at least 4 games, or like Hassan Reddick, or like these guys who were crucial to their defenses and produced I don't know, top 5 defenses in DVOA compared to the Cleveland Browns, who got a whopping 23rd in defensive DVOA?
Listen, Nick Bosa is my second pick for pass rusher, but, and I know Garrett got hurt a couple times this year or whatever, right? Am I tripping on that one? But I think he's the best pure pass rusher in the NFL. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at it in the scope of this year, not all time. If we had a conversation about who's better, from a career standpoint, I'd probably be all over Myles Garrett. But personally, I thought Nick Bosa had probably one of his most productive seasons ever. It was almost like a TJ Watt-ish season.
TJ Watt. All right. I could be swayed. Let's see who everybody else. I could be swayed to Nick Bosa.
I'll go. I personally had Nick Bosa as one of mine as well. And then there was a few other guys I thought deserved love. I mean, you can have Micah Parsons in there. That's not who I'm going to pick. I do like Sauce. He's the only reason I don't pick him is because he's going to be in an award later for sure. Probably locked into that one. There was another corner this year that was very underrated, top 5 corner, and that it's on the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tyson Campbell. I talked about this dude a few weeks ago on the show when we were talking about Jacksonville. This dude played tremendous. He was for sure a top 5 corner. I think he deserves a little bit of love in this conversation.
Tyson
I
Campbell
like that.
appreciator. I appreciate that.
If I was gonna go in with mine, I mean, my favorite player in the NFL to watch play is Nick Bosa. Like whenever the 49ers are on defense, I'm watching Nick Bosa the entire time. I don't care what else is going on because I just know he's probably just there. He's always just gonna do something. He's always gonna affect something. He's always just gonna do something to make it so much harder for every single team. And he's just a monster down there. But my second pick, there's a lot of people that could be put for like a number 2. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick had a pretty good year. You know, I've always thought he's been one of the best. He's been the best at his position probably for a while now. And he's also really, really fun to watch. I think the Steelers have a really, really good defense. They have some great players on there. And Roquan Smith, I think, is one that doesn't get mentioned enough. I think he's had a very, very good year. He's 3rd in combined tackles. He's gotten 3 interceptions this year. Yeah, and I think he's probably. I feel like he's the best defensive player on the Ravens, in my opinion, and especially with such a bad offense. Like with having such a terrible offense and that tries its best to even stay on the field without Lamar Jackson, and the defense has to stay out there for so long. All the games the Baltimore Ravens have been defensively sound with a bad offense. Like they basically limped their way into the playoffs, and I think he was a massive part of that. I think he should get more of a nod there. And also Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner looks like an incredible talent, and I think the Jets got a steal.
Okay. I like the conversation. I'm also going to agree. I believe our first spot will go to Nick Bosa. I'm actually going to throw somebody in the conversation that I think a lot of people kind of missed out on this year. He's currently tied with Minkah Fitzpatrick for interceptions. And he actually has more sacks than Minkah Fitzpatrick does because Minkah Fitzpatrick had 0 this season. He is missing in the tackle department, but he only played 12 games this season. It's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at the Philadelphia Eagles. You want to talk about a guy who ran like box safety, just like absolutely crazy for the whole season. Possibly elevated them. I also wanted to give the award to James Bradbury because that dude honestly deserves a bag in free agency this year. But I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson proved to be a very crucial safety for that team. He had a lot of responsibilities. And like I said, playing 3 less games than Minkah Fitzpatrick, it's kind of tough to be like, oh, you know, he had the same production and we kind of didn't get to see the same production from him because he played less games. So I'm just saying. I'm just simply saying.
I think Bosa. I think another player that none of us said. What about Chris Jones? You know,
I thought Chris Jones had an efficient season. I just felt like looking at like a Chris Jones season like this, like I thought there were some better guys that played off, you know, the defensive line this year. Just looking at it, like I wanted to make an argument for Hassan Reddick because I think Hassan Reddick's quite possibly just had his best NFL season ever. I mean, anyone wants to disagree with me on that can just go watch all the Eagles splits this year and watch all their games. I mean, he's just a massive presence for them. But I could agree with Chris Jones, maybe.
all right. So I think it just kind of depends on what we value here at the SMC Show. Do we want to get like a pass rusher and then like a coverage player, or do we want to? I don't know.
I feel like we switched it up on offense too. We kind of threw an offensive lineman there, so I feel like a coverage guy would be a good one. I hate saying it. I think it's kind of annoying because I think there were a lot of really good rookies that we all want to say right now that we have to hold on for later.
Yeah, this is true.
So I'm good with a coverage guy. Minkah Fitzpatrick's not a terrible take. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he's like my favorite, but I don't think he had a bad season, and I think he was kind of crucial for a very lackluster Pittsburgh defense.
Because if we're not doing Gardner because of the other award that he should win, I would pick Patrick Surtain. And
But they got torched at the end of the season. He was great through the first 8 weeks, but they got murdered in the second half of the season. That's my only conversation about Pat Surtain. And I felt like he had a really good start of the season. And then when the Broncos took what we all saw was absolutely garbage and did not play very well through the rest of the season, it kind of felt like they were just meh. And I mean, if you're talking about a corner on corner basis and like coverage percentage, I mean, like you could say that Sauce Gardner was almost like Patrick Surtain in his rookie season. I mean, I'm just saying, even better than a Patrick Surtain rookie season.
Sauce Gardner is the best cornerback in the NFL.
That's my point. I mean, if you want to, if I mean, I'm not hating the Sauce winning 2 awards here. Like,
I'd say he deserves it.
All right, we're giving it to Sauce. I feel like.
Let's go. I have a question. I have a thought experiment for the. Would you take Sauce Gardner #1, knowing what we know now about the 2022 NFL draft class?
No, because I think I actually, looking back at the Trayvon Walker draft pick, I think he is going to be such a crucial member of that team, and I felt like he was just so hard to pass up with just how freaky athletic he is. I think he definitely deserved to go #2 though. Like he definitely deserved to go #2 looking at the draft order.
What about I think it's interesting. What about you guys? The rest of you guys?
I don't see how you sit here and say Detroit made a bad selection in Aiden Hutchinson. He played amazing.
Yeah.
So I know
but
they have
their
holes
corner
everywhere on
room
the
is
defense.
so busted though. Their corner room.
have
I would
so
rather
bad.
have Sauce Gardner than Aiden Hutchinson, but
Yes.
yeah.
I don't think you can sit here and say those 2 teams made a bad pick because Jaguars corners this year were good.
So, Derek Stingley at 3 though was kind of a reach.
He'll figure it out.
I don't think
He's
they
real
put
good.
him in situations to play well. They played him in a lot of zone, and
that's where he was supposed to be good though. That's where he was supposed to be good, and I think his injury history is what's hurt him. So, just saying.
All right, we got our 2.
All right, and now it is the offensive rookie quarterback of the year. If this is not an overwhelming decision here, I'm going to be fuming.
we shouldn't even have an argument about this one.
I feel like there is a little bit of an argument.
No, there's no argument here. It is Brock Purdy all day of the week.
I would pick Kenny Pickett.
Oh my God.
Oh
He
my
was
God.
terrible.
I disagree.
Oh my God. Have you seen his game stats?
I have seen his.
Did you watch honestly, did you watch one Pittsburgh Steelers game all year?
I watched one. Shit. What one was it though? It was shoot. Listen. The only reason I am picking Kenny Pickett over Brock Purdy is because he played more games. And he actually was pretty decent with a really bad situation. I would average 7 yards per attempt in that 49ers offense. So I'm not giving Brock
Josh
Purdy.
Johnson didn't.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know what? But I'm not trying to say Brock Purdy wasn't good or he's overrated or anything.
I just want to tell you, starting NFL quarterbacks who have more quarterbacks who started this year that have more touchdowns than Kenny Pickett. I'm going to start naming the list here. Sam Darnold, Deshaun Watson, also they don't throw as many interceptions. I don't know. Matt Ryan, Mac Jones, Brock Purdy had 13 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. The person who is below Kenny Pickett, and mine is, let me tell you this, 135 pass attempts is the minimum here. So that means Brock Purdy was he had registered enough pass attempts to be put in the same conversation as Kenny Pickett. The people below Kenny Pickett are Zach Wilson, Cooper Rush, Joe Flacco, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mike White.
Okay. I know how the stats look on the surface, but using some unnamed subscription-based service that I have access to that not a lot of other people have access to because I paid for it. There is a little bit of funkiness going on in Kenny Pickett's stats. He actually had his turnover-worthy play rate was, let me check here.
Oh, I'm not going to disagree that his turnover-worthy play rate was not the same. It was not
It was
as bad as it
2.5%, and there are a ton of quarterbacks that had more picks with higher turnover-worthy plays. The only thing is just I don't think Brock Purdy played enough games, and I think Pickett was on a throw-for-throw basis about as good. So that's my logic.
I was going to pick Kenny Pickett as well, just because the games played.
There's
This is like the worst. This is literally the worst conversation I've ever heard. You put Kenny Pickett in the 49ers offense.
He's better
and
than
tell me
Brock
that
Purdy.
he can get them to the playoffs. I bet you $1,000 he's not.
He's better than Brock Purdy.
Wait,
If
I'm
you
sorry.
If
Wait a
you
minute.
put
wait a
him
minute.
in the 49ers offense, he would have produced better than Brock
I'm sorry,
Purdy.
but like when I'm looking at the stats, Brock Purdy had a better rate than Patrick Mahomes. He and Patrick Mahomes had the same amount of completion percentage. I know that they didn't play as many games, but Brock Purdy played like a pretty good amount of games in the NFL, was undefeated, never lost, and was just thrown in. He was the 7th pick, probably didn't even expect to ever play a snap unless it was a kneel. And he comes in and he lights it up. If you watch the games, he grew into it so quickly. Like even
I'm
the
not
playoff
trying to
games,
say that
started
he's
off
not
shaky,
good.
but
He is. He's great. But I think the Shanahan offense effect did boost his stats a lot. He was second in yards per attempt in the NFL per pass play, which I think is just like Jimmy Garoppolo was second last year or whatever. So Kyle Shanahan just owns that stat. And I would rather have Kenny Pickett going forward. I think that he did a decent job with a way worse situation. So that's why I would pick Kenny Pickett. Although for you guys, I feel like it's unanimously Brock Purdy. I feel like I can be swayed to seeing it be Brock Purdy. So in order to prevent a holdup, I will acquiesce. But just know that
I just think, and I know I'm going on the NFL bias schedule or bias rating, that a team that makes the playoffs compared to a team who is god awful this year.
the team with the
probably
winning
have
record.
someone who was not expected to get. Kenny Pickett was expected to be in his situation. Brock Purdy had no clue he was going to even play this year. Brock Purdy didn't know if he was going to collect a check after week 1.
I listen. I can see it. He was good. He was great. Just
I'm
didn't
going to
play
give
as
it a
many games.
Purdy / Pickett since we are split straight down the middle here. I was looking to see if anyone was in the comments helping. Okay. On to offensive rookie of the year. Running back, wide receiver, and O-line are all on the board. And tight ends. Who do you guys think was your 2 offensive players of the year as a rookie?
Can I get a Garrett Wilson and a Chris Olave, please? I'm a big Ohio State guy over here. Give me Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, best wide receiver room in college football history. They're going to be the best, top five. Yeah, there we go. We're picking 2 or just 1?
2.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. We ball.
I think it's a good take, but it's not my favorite take. I'm gonna be honest.
Sorry, what?
I feel like there was a running back that just like kind of got forgot about when he like got injured. But there's also one who's possibly even better than the one we forgot about. Pacheco. Anybody? Any takers on this?
He
But
was
like
good,
no
but
Chiefs
good.
running backs are actually that good, you know.
Give me K9 before
Didn't
that.
Jared McKinnon
Yeah.
have 9 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't he like 10th in the league in touchdowns? Jared McKinnon?
you play running back for the Chiefs, you're gonna get some solid stats. Like it just they haven't had a truly like talented, like really great running back since I think Kareem Hunt. But like I don't know. I like. There's always a Chiefs caveat for their running backs. They can always put up numbers, but running back, I feel like you have to look at a little. There's more to running back at least than. I'm not saying Pacheco was bad. He was great, But I think
like-
there were other rookie running backs that I would rather have, like Damian Pierce.
Tyler Algier.
Tyler
like,
Algier was great. Yeah.
Brees
Kenneth
Hall.
Walker.
Kenneth Walker was also great, who would probably be my.
Brees
Pick for
Hall
best
just didn't
rookie.
play enough games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he played those games, he was disgusting.
Yeah, if he played all year, he would have been probably offensive rookie of the year for sure. But he just didn't. So
I mean, I'm okay with like K9, and I don't know who I think I'd give Garrett Wilson. Well, I don't know. They both had equally as crappy quarterbacks, so that's kind of where my split is right now on which one I thought was better. I want to see which one had more yards.
If I'm
Garrett
gonna,
Wilson had 1,100 yards.
He was real good.
if I was gonna go with one, I really, really like Garrett Wilson on the Jets. I really, really like watching him play. He looks like he's gonna be a very, very good player. If only he had a quarterback,
A crumb of competent quarterback play.
not Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
They have the same amount of
anyone else.
touchdowns. I just want that to be noted. They do have the same amount of touchdowns, and Garrett Wilson has 11 more receptions and like 35 more targets.
Well, I feel like it's
I
a
just-
lot
I just gotta
harder
say something.
for him.
this has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. Once we get to the NBA section, I have some breaking news to announce. I know you'll probably see it on your phone right now, but it's wild. It's a guy I can't stand, but
I'm not going to check my phone then. I'm going to wait.
don't check your phone.
Uh-oh.
I want to get a surprise.
Okay, I want to see. I won't spoil it though.
I assume a trade happened.
It wasn't a trade, but it is a request of a trade.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. But Dallas, continue on your offensive rookie of the year conversation.
Yeah, I think you have to put Garrett Wilson in there. I really like Olave as well. Man, it's so tough. I think you can put Wilson, Olave, and Kenneth Walker in there because Kenneth Walker was amazing for Seattle. Those are my three favorites. I don't even know if I can pick two. They're all equal. I think they're all equally as important to their offenses.
I felt Walker and Wilson were a little more important than Olave, but
I think Walker and Wilson are my two picks. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'd go with. I go with Walker and Wilson.
Okay. That's a fair one. And then we have defensive rookie of the year.
there are only two correct answers here.
Is Sauce Gardner an automatic pencil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like there could be arguments that ensue here.
Come on.
I want to make sure he's a rookie because I have this weird feeling he's not. I just want to check and make sure.
Ben Simmons rules.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tariq Woolen.
He is a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is my pick.
He
Six
gets-
interceptions. 6 interceptions. 63 tackles. Played almost every game for the Seattle defense. Recovered 2 fumbles. I mean, played in the playoffs. I mean, he was just good. He was really good all year. And he was probably one of the most crucial pieces of that Seattle Seahawks defense when you lose Jamal Adams early in the season. Quandre Diggs had a decent season, but I mean, like people thought Kobe Bryant was going to be better than him. So, but I think Tariq Woolen's my pick.
I like Tariq Woolen. There's a sleeper guy. I don't think we should pick him, but Jalen Petrie for the Texans played phenomenal at safety. As a safety for the Texans, you're going to have to tackle a lot because your linebackers are not going to tackle because they're going to miss a bunch. I don't know how much the Texans led in missed tackles, but I assume they're probably top 10 in the league in missed tackles. So Jalen Petrie is going to have to tackle on the backside quite a bit. And he had a pretty good rookie year.
Yeah, Petrie had 99 tackles. I just want that to be noted. Or he had 99 solo tackles, but he had 147 total tackles.
He missed 20% of his tackles. Fun stat there for you. I just wanted to point that out. But my pick, I feel like this one's kind of obvious. I think it should be Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously, exclude the Lions. Why are you looking at it like he's dumb? He was obviously like at least the best rookie defensive lineman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Obviously.
why are you looking at me like it's a controversial take? He had more picks than Sauce Gardner, by the way. Fun fact. Which I just think is the funniest stat ever. What's wrong with Aiden Hutchinson? He led the rookies in sacks. He contributed in all phases of the game, weirdly as a coverage player. I don't know why it's.
I don't know.
Why'd you
almost 10 sacks and 3 picks as a defensive lineman.
Why'd you weird chant me over here? Like you were like,
they were such a bad defense though. They were literally like 30.
He is
they're
but
literally
one
like 29th
man.
in the EPA. They're literally like terrible.
They are a bad defense, but like
they're 28th in EPA. They're 28th in defensive DVOA and EPA. I mean,
it's not great. I'll give it up.
You're getting slaughtered. So like one guy winning in a system like that compared to a team like Seattle where they were 21st, or like Talanoa Hufanga. Did anyone remember him from the
He was really
season?
good. Yeah, no, I'd give it
just an absolute box crusher. I mean, my man was coming in and literally running linebacker at points in coverages. I mean, minus the fact when he got a concussion because he tried to rock somebody. I mean, the Jalen Petrie conversation, Houston was 31st in defensive DVOA.
He's but
or
22nd.
Man. But I mean, I don't know. I could go for Hutchinson, but like I felt like there were a lot of people who should have got honorable mentions in this conversation.
This is I think he was far and away the best player on the Lions defense. Led rookies in sacks, had the second most interceptions. He played a bunch. Over the like week 11 on, his overall grade was only behind Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa, I think, among edge defenders. So I don't know. I'm confident in my Aiden Hutchinson love. He's my baby boy, but he actually I hate him and he sucks. Ohio State should have beat Michigan that last time. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
You're really taking on this role of a Michigan fan.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State fan, by the way.
Oh yeah, Ohio State fan.
I would appreciate if we don't say any words with the letter M in them, please. That's it's against my religion.
I gotta cross them all out. So sorry. But are we good with Sauce and Hutch here?
Yeah, I can do Sauce and Hutch.
I feel like that's gonna be pretty like unanimous, like across the social media circles.
Are we even gonna have a conversation about comeback offensive player of the year?
Shoot, it's Saquon, right? Like,
I mean, it's like Saquon or Christian McCaffrey. I don't think there's any in between.
Right. Oh yeah.
But I think Saquon had. I mean, if you want to talk about really coming back, the fact that Christian McCaffrey got traded and then had probably like the best season of anyone ever getting traded at the deadline or like close to the deadline.
Who do you think Ashley's going to win it though? Because Geno could win it.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I like Geno.
Plus he plays quarterback, so he actually matters.
I was on the Geno hype train, but like they kind of fell off. Like he kind of got into like a little bit of like a bad funk at the end of the season, I will say. And like he kind of just did some stupid stuff. Like he showed his incompetencies at moments. I mean, he had 11 interceptions to 30 touchdowns. I mean, Jared Goff had a better season than him at 29-7. So I mean, you could throw Jared Goff in that conversation.
Jared Goff was solid.
Yeah. 25-8. I mean, like there's a lot of like decent quarterbacks who had good years. I mean, like I think his story's great and like it'd be a great like award winner, but like Saquon Barkley had probably a bigger part of that team for that Giants team. I mean, he did a lot. So that's my argument for Saquon.
I would probably pick Saquon.
Yeah, I'd pick Saquon.
That's fine.
If McCaffrey got traded on earlier, like if he got traded like before the season and did this with the 49ers, I would fight tooth and nail for him. But like, he just kind of got put on a shelf for a couple weeks with the stupid team. Defensive comeback player of the year. I have a lot of arguments for this one. I think there's a lot of people.
I don't even know.
All I
know is that TJ Watt would win this next year. That's the only thing I would.
Throwing names in the conversation, I think
Bobby
I'm going.
Wagner.
Ooh,
He was amazing
stinky
with the Rams.
That defense was terrible.
He was awesome though.
He was awesome for a terrible defense and a terrible team.
Why is that like such an important caveat? A defense is like you can't make a defense good by yourself.
Producing on a top team, if you're producing on a team that you were not on last year, and you're producing numbers that it's getting teams to win games, that's great. But for what they gave up for him and his production, like it was fantastic that they got him. But he's old. Like I'm looking at like young guys who like no one thought was going to be good. Like these pickups that people were like, oh, that guy's going to literally be terrible, or like no one thought he was going to be a big part of that team. Like mine's James Bradbury. I mean,
I can see the logic in that.
I mean, he's going to get at least like 30 million in free agency.
I don't know.
Anyone else got any?
I don't have a pick for comeback defense play of the year.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't really have one.
There's not. Usually they go to injured guys who come back the next year. I don't have a player that was injured. I can't think of one.
Derwin James, he was injured.
Yeah.
He had a decent season.
I do love Derwin James.
Other than trying to kill that Colts player.
Yeah, he tried to kill Ashton Doolin.
The Colts should have picked Derwin James over Quentin Nelson. I'm just gonna say that, and then I'm gonna peace out.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Jermaine Pratt had a really good season after.
He was really good, weirdly, yeah.
Terrible linebacker the year before. Chavarius Ward was pretty good going in. I could give a lot of awards to people that got paid way too much money and then sucked. Rasul Douglas.
I was with the Quentin Nelson pick. I have too much PTSD to have a bad offensive line again.
Ooh, I have one.
With the Andrew Luck thing, just
I have a comeback DPOY. DeForest Buckner? Because wasn't he hurt last year?
You call it a comeback.
I wouldn't call
He's been here for years.
Yeah, I don't know about a comeback. I think he was injured for a couple games.
I'm giving it to James Bradbury since I was the only one that could come up with a real name.
All right, fair enough. James Bradbury.
Name for future offensive player of the year. So this is a player we're looking at for next year's offensive player of the year. Who do you guys got? Who's going to explode on the scene?
So are we talking like rookies coming in or like young
No,
players
I'm thinking,
that can take that?
It could be a rookie. It could be just a guy we think is going to have some massive production next year.
I mean, just in terms of offensive players who I think will shine the brightest, I think Trevor Lawrence. I think he showed enough in the second half of the season, and when he has a full off season with Dougie P, and they get Christian Kirk back next year, which I think people forgot about that.
And they get Calvin Ridley.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant Calvin Ridley. Sorry. Yeah, I think that the Jaguars, I think Trevor Lawrence could explode. So
I like T-Law. That's honestly where my mind was going to. Guys that are gonna. I think that he's gonna be a big step. Like I think he could step into like a top 12 quarterback next season easily.
Depending on the quarterback scenario, and obviously there's Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Maybe you never know. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, I know we talked about him for offensive rookie of the year. He could step up even more and be Aaron Rodgers' favorite target, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson could be 1,500-yard receiver with Aaron Rodgers easily. I think he could have a crazy year, but this is all depending on the quarterback scenario. I will agree with Trevor, though. I will agree with Trevor.
My mind was actually going the exact same way with Garrett Wilson. I was thinking the same way. If they get a good quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, I think Garrett Wilson will just take another step in the right direction. Because, like, I think it's kind of sad how I saw. I used to watch videos of Zach Wilson throwing the football because I thought it was funny. I used to watch videos of every Zach Wilson throw because all of them were terrible, pretty much. And like he got a lot of his yard. I don't know about the stats, but I just felt so bad that they threw screens to him so much because I feel like he could be used so much better used if they could throw down the field just a little bit. And they used him in screens so much, and it kind of made me frustrated. And I bet it made Jets fans frustrated too. So if you can get him into some deeper routes, his yards will go up massively next year. I also do like Trevor Lawrence. I think Jacksonville's going to win the division next year. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the big defining factor in that.
I'm going to save my take on what the AFC South is going to look like next year because I think it's going to be weird. Name for our future defensive player of the year. If none of you agree with me on this, you can suck it. Fred Warner. Fred Warner just definitely deserves to be possibly in the conversation of best middle linebacker of all time.
Yeah.
You tell me
like this for a few more seasons, and yes.
Give it some time, but like
put
my brother in Christ.
Put everyone out there. Put the best middle linebackers in the world that we've ever seen out there. Fred Warner can do everything that they can do, just a little bit better. Run support, pass support. He runs the pole. He's athletic. He's fast. I mean,
I mean, like, I just don't know. I feel like Luke Kuechly, when it comes to mind, Patrick Willis. Brian Urlacher, like, I don't know. Bobby Wagner. I think he's the best linebacker since Luke Kuechly retired, but he just has to do it for a little longer, and then we could start getting into that conversation. I could see an argument for the best coverage linebacker of all time.
But that's my point. I think he's going to still improve in coverage, and we're going to be like, oh my God, he has like a season where he gets like 10 picks, but then also has a bunch of run stuffs. And so that's why he's in my future defensive player of the year. Also, I'd put Sauce Gardner in there. So anyone else got any honorable mentions for this conversation?
Oh man, I have a really big stretch.
Give it to me.
Really big stretch.
We love stretches here. Stretches are our favorite things.
It's somebody that I've watched very often. Every single season, he's taken steps and he's getting better. Literally every game, he gets better game after game. I'm just gonna put in a shout out for Kwity Paye. He's improved every single season he's been in the NFL. I forget how many sacks he had this year, but he was injured for a couple.
I think it was like 6.5 or something.
But he was injured for a couple games, and I think he doubled his production from last year. And I know, and he does have a lot of very good players around him on that defensive line so I think it might help him a little bit, but he's taking better steps every single season. And I can kind of smell a breakout season. Like, I feel like it's right there. Like, and maybe if the Colts can turn it around quickly, like maybe when we draft CJ Stroud, like we did with Andrew Luck, and turn it around and become a winning football team very quickly, then maybe you could see it. I know it's a very big stretch. I don't think it'll happen. But I just wanted to say I feel like he's due a breakout next season, because I think he's supposed to get paid. Like, next season's his last contract before he gets paid as well. So I can see a really, really big breakout season from him potentially on the horizon. But I mean, I do like the Warner pick.
I could see him winning defensive player of the year in the future.
because I was kind of not with the Quiddy Pay pick when we drafted him, and after his first season, I was like, oh no, this guy's trash. But this last season, I actually saw him doing pretty well against and doing stuff that he normally doesn't do, like actually being kind of effective and just the tackling game as well. He's been a much better tackler from what I've seen. So, I think it's a stretch, but I'm just going to put his name in there. Try to get some hope for Colts fans. Something to be hopeful for.
All righty. Well, I know I am so sad I didn't get to do my segment because I choked on doing it last week. I was going to do my coaching crystal ball and like totally rip off 24/7 Sports. But I didn't get to do it. So there were some new hires this week. I know we've all seen them. The Broncos are idiots for trading picks for a coach. Officially, the Broncos deserve a full like Austin Anderson edit. Because
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah, it's
Broncos
just
country.
I saw a meme where it was like, if you weren't with us at 5-11, don't hop on when we're 6-6, or what? When we were 5-12, don't hop on when we're 6-11, and like the snorting emoji,
But my best and my prediction for the best NFL coach, newcomer coach next year will be DeMeco Ryans. I think he's gonna transform the Texans in ways that we haven't seen. I think they have a lot of raw defensive talents that, he'll be able to hone in on. I'm interested to see who he hires for offensive coordinator. And if they fire the old offensive coordinator, and bring in someone new, and if they draft, because I think that's the most interesting conversation. They have the second pick. I think Davis Mills' time has been ended. And I think they're gonna make a new step. I'm interested to see who they draft and what happens with honestly, they're all hinged on the number one pick of who they draft. So DeMeco Ryans and the Texans are gonna be my favorite team to watch next year.
Does it have to be head coach or can it be coordinator?
Yeah, no, you could just give a coach. We were giving all the love to the coaches today.
I personally think Kellen Moore to the Chargers.
I told Dallas, I think that's one of my favorite assistant coaching hires.
Because I have
absolutely
no clue how anybody could say that Kellen Moore was the problem in Dallas. Back-to-back years, they've had top 5 offensive EPA per play. He goes to an even better situation, I would say, with Herbert. They have good wide receivers. They could have a solid offensive line. They have a decent pick in the draft. So I think Kellen Moore could really unlock Justin Herbert. So I would say he would probably be my most anticipated. I want to see what they can cook up.
That's my pick as well. I don't have anything to back off of that. Austin said it all pretty much. I'm interested to see the Chargers offense next year.
If you knew what he could do with Cooper Rush, what can you do with Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert, yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with Kellen Moore there.
I think Sean Payton. Come on,
I think
guys.
Kellen Moore could have potentially gotten a head coaching job. So I was kind of a little confused why he took another assistant. But I mean, it is like you are going to a team with you have Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen.
You have the guru himself, Brandon Staley, as your head coach.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about defense.
The ever so
flexible.
The
defense to be healthy. You just need the defense to be healthy.
The ever so flexible Brandon Staley. I think they have a lot of flexibility in the offense. So there you go.
The head coach that I will not let my girlfriend see when he gives an interview. I'll say that much.
All righty. Well, we have 2 newcomers, and if you have missed out on the past couple weeks, we have initiated a new segment. It is called Do You Know Ball? It is sports questions. Today's topic, I had to keep you guys from usually I would write on there and let you know what today's is, but today is on this day in sports. So please no cheating. It does not make the game fun at all. I told Dallas, I think this is actually the hardest set of questions I've brought into the table yet. last week had some tough ones, but they were able to work their way through the NFL Division Championship game heroes of 2000 to 2023. But we are ready to start. The first question, gentlemen. On this day in 1990, this iconic horse jockey retired after 40,350 races. Who am I?
We didn't explain too much the rules. We're all working together in this.
Yeah, you guys can work together.
all work
Spitball
together.
off each other and
Figure out this person.
Was it
So-
Walter White? I don't like. I have.
Can you repeat the question?
on this day in 1990, this iconic horse jockey, so the jockeys that ride the horse, retired after 40,350 races. Who am I? I will give you his initials. They are BS.
Brandon State. No.
I have no idea.
Bennett Stanley? I don't know.
Bennett Stetson.
Bjorg Schmurg? Oh, I don't know. Is he German?
You can say, I do not know, and you will take a L.
No
on the first
clue.
question.
We took the. We'll take the L.
We take the L here.
I have no idea.
I don't know is the first answer. The correct answer is Bill Shoemaker.
I knew that. I just on the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
Like I said, this is the hardest one that I think I've ever come up with. So you guys
Oh my
are
gosh.
so welcome for this. On this day in 1998, this former NHL player and Florida Panther became the 9th NHL player to score 600 career goals. Who am I?
I don't watch hockey.
I will give you the initials, DC.
I don't watch hockey like this, man.
I'm getting you all in the hockey questions for the rest of the.
Like I said, man, I don't watch hockey. I don't know these questions. I only know
Yeah.
a few players in hockey.
Next question's gonna be like,
Hey, wait,
this
is-
cricket player hit the most balls in
Wait,
1871. Like,
What are the initials again?
DC.
Is his first name Daniel?
No.
Okay, never mind. I don't know.
Wow, I've got two I don't knows to start. Just don't worry, guys. The next question is even easier than this question. So the correct answer is Dino Cicerelli.
hey.
It's at the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Someone almost had a very close answer. Someone had Bobby Shearer in the group in the chat on YouTube. So they at least got something close.
Let me see. What's the next question? What's the next question?
On this day in 2002, this retired NFL quarterback wins his first Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams and wins Super Bowl MVP. Who am I?
Question one more time.
On this day in 2002, this retired NFL quarterback wins his first Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams and wins the Super Bowl MVP. Who am I?
Against the Rams? Shoot. Was it? Shoot.
You get no more hints because it is this easy that if I give you a hint, you are going to get it. So
Was it Tom Brady? No, he didn't make the Super Bowl in 2002, right?
Is that your final answer? If so, you can lock it in.
No. It wasn't Tom Brady, right?
Could it have been?
I'm not gonna say. I can't say anything.
Didn't the Ravens win a championship around that time?
Yes, I think-
didn't they have like one of the worst starting QBs to ever win the Super Bowl around that time?
Yeah, because they had the God defense. Shoot.
Could it have been him? Because I think he won MVP in the Super Bowl game. But I'm not sure about that. I forget his name completely.
Because what the Rams were the NFC, so it was AFC, right?
Yeah, AFC.
Okay. Who won the Super Bowl in 2002? Because it wasn't the Buccaneers. I'm just going through the early 2000s ones that I know.
Well, the Buccaneers are in the AFC, so yes, that is not correct.
So let's see. Couldn't have been Jacksonville, Houston, Indianapolis,
It was 2002.
or the
I will let you
Titans.
know it is not the AFC South.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is your last hint. Unfortunately, I cannot give any more, or you guys will get it.
I just know that Tom Brady beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. So I don't know.
Could it have been
But it wasn't
Brady?
2002, right? That was before.
I'm down to go with that if you think
All
that's
right.
right. This is a
Tom
year
Brady.
before my time, so
Uh,
I
The
was
correct
one.
answer is Tom Brady.
let's go. I
When
thought
he
his
said,
was
when he
later.
said when Adam said the Ravens, I just couldn't. I was about ready to start laughing because I was like, Austin had the first guess he had, and I was like, I can't say anything.
I thought Tom Brady's first one was in 2004, though. I was a little, so.
No,
Yeah, I thought that
this
was
is the year where he
2004.
comes in for Drew Bledsoe, and they like go on that magical run.
Okay.
I am writing your guys's, but you got this one correct. So we're 1 out of 3 so far. It only
go.
gets harder. On this day in 1876, this iconic sports brand was started with an $800 investment. This company then goes on to create the first official baseball, tennis ball, basketball, golf ball, and football. What company is this?
Isn't it just Wilson or Spalding, one of the two?
Which one is it?
I like how I joked about the, like, in 1871, this cricket player, and then the next question was literally like 1876.
They are partnered with a professional organization now. So that if that helps you.
The only brand I can think of is Wilson.
I was trying to think of which brand's been around longer, Wilson or Spalding. But I know Wilson does a lot. I don't know about Spalding.
Yeah,
I know Wilson does a lot more products.
I want to guess Wilson.
The reason I say Wilson is because Alex said, did you say tennis in there as well?
Yeah. That's the one that I thought
Spalding
too,
doesn't
yeah.
make a tennis ball. So
Yeah,
it's
Spalding
gotta
doesn't make
be
tennis
Wilson.
balls.
Give me Wilson.
Locking it in, Wilson. That is incorrect. It is Spalding. Albert Spalding on this day.
God,
No way.
Oh, come on.
I knew
Albert.
the golf
Imagine
ball and
being,
tennis ball.
imagine waking
It was
up
on
and
the
being
Google,
named
it was on the
Albert.
description on Google, and I was like, I'm putting all this in to screw them up.
Oh, come on.
That's cringe.
This might be the best episode. I have officially stumped you all. The last question is also not very easy. This one is weird going over an event. On this day in 1924, this sports event was held for the first time in Canada. What event is it?
Sports.
1924. I thought it was the Olympics. Or, no.
Could it held in maybe the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, that would actually make sense. Yeah. I think it's the Winter Olympics. That's a
I
good
like that.
guess.
I like that.
I'm confident.
Are
I'll go with
locking
that.
it in. The
Show
Winter
us the Winter
Olympics.
Olympics.
It is correct. The
Let's
Winter
go!
Olympics.
Let's go. That's what I'm
This
talking
week's-
about.
This week was a 2 out of 5.
The second you said
I did-
Canada, I was like, oh, snow.
Yeah.
Get ready for next week. Next week, gentlemen, is a good one. Next week will be Super Bowl. Do you know ball?
Okay.
There's going to be some Super Bowl legends. Actually, that might be the topic. Super Bowl legends next week. I hope you guys have done your research because I'm going from every
Deion
single Super-
Branch.
I will be starting at the first Super Bowl and going to the very last Super Bowl. So I hope you guys are ready. But now that was a great Do You Know Ball section. I definitely got you guys. That's why I couldn't give you I had to leave it as unknown because it was literally a Bleacher Report article on it, like from a year ago on like things that happened on today's date. So I was like, if they find this, it's over. So, but we're going to go through college basketball quickly. I was thinking we would start our college basketball tournament predictions kind of segment So I just did set seeds 1 through 3 this week, and we're gonna kind of split it up and keep going on. I don't know if we might end at like 10. I don't want to go past like 10 because like 10's always like, because then you're like in a mid-major and it's weird. But of course we're gonna start with the number 1 seed. Should I just pencil the first team in automatically? I mean, we all know who's probably gonna stay in the number 1 seed conversation.
Are we doing the 1 seed, or are we doing all 4 like
it's all 4 1 seeds. It's all 4 1 seeds. So
well, I think there's 3 teams that you lock in right now. If we do it right now, it's Alabama, Purdue, and Houston. Those 3 teams are on the 1 line for sure. And then I think the 4th team is right now between Tennessee and Kansas. And I'd like to hear which way.
I'm gonna keep it a rack with y'all. I only know 2 college basketball teams how they're doing this year, and that's Houston and Gonzaga. So I'm kind of useless for this part, but I did think Houston should be a number 1 seed.
No Ken Palm? You're just not Ken Palming this whole thing?
Oh, you want me to do it by Ken Palm? Let's go.
We've been looking at Ken Palm.
Good
season.
Boys. I'm proud of you. All right, you guys just go while I look up my stats.
As of right now, I'd lean towards Tennessee getting the 1 seed over Kansas.
Well, I think the problem is Tennessee will run into Alabama and have to lose to Alabama. I think I could see, because it's tough, because one of those teams is going to win out in the SEC tournament. Like one of those teams, or I mean, there's even a couple other teams that could. I think Kansas just has a better chance, honestly. I mean, I know they have the same record right now. They're in a different division. It's always tough to say that 2 teams in the same division always get in Kansas is 19th in adjusted offense and 16th. Tennessee's 42nd in adjusted offense, but number 1 in defense. So I mean, usually you go by the 25 and 25, which meaning like you want your offense in top 25 and you want your defense in top 25 or very close to it to be a very efficient team. I just think for now, I think it's tough to say that you don't think Kansas will be there. They have the resume to be there.
I'm all right with putting Kansas on the 1 line. Tennessee will be the first 2 seeds on 2.
Alex, what about Kentucky?
They are.
You remember when Alex picked 3 SEC teams to make the Final Four last year? I remember. Maybe you youngins weren't on the show yet, but I remember. This year,
you remember how brutally wrong our bracket was?
That was so bad.
We picked I think we missed 32. I think we missed 16 of 32 games in the opening round. It was quite literally the worst bracket ever created. So yes, our current 1 seeds we have chosen are Purdue, Houston, Alabama, and Kansas. Are we going to agree on this?
Yeah, I can agree.
All right. On to the 2 seeds. As we just said, Tennessee did get knocked out, so I'm going to put them in there because I think they're probably going to be there. And then this is kind of where I feel like the arguments begin of who else is deserving of a 2 seed this year.
I don't think it's that much of an argument to get to 3 right now, because I think we should base it on right now and we can predict the future, but it'd be too tough because a lot of these teams could lose a few in a row and they can bounce down a couple seeds. But right now, you have to have Arizona on the 2 line. You have to have Gonzaga on the 2 line, and I'd personally put
Virginia?
Texas or Virginia on the 2 line.
I think Texas has just had too many losses. They've just had too many bad losses. I feel like Virginia's just got a better record. UCLA's not in there?
I'll have you. UCLA is tough. They don't have.
I'm gonna do some chess puzzles while you guys figure this out. Well, wait, where did Alex go?
I have no idea.
Oh shoot.
Uh,
Let's talk. Oh boy. Oh shoot. I didn't. Okay. All right. Emergency time. Let's talk about our favorite Alex Nielsen take. Remember when Alex said that literally every linebacker in NFL history, Fred Warner can do what they do better?
yeah, that's a pretty wild take. I can't
I
lie.
mean, definitely a better pass rusher than Lawrence Taylor, IMO. If you think about it, Although Taylor didn't play middle linebacker, so I guess that's.
I am back. Sorry about that. Okay. We were on the 2 seeds. We had Tennessee, Arizona. Anyone else got any?
Gonzaga's
Gonzaga?
for sure on the 2 line.
Ugh.
Then I think
This is the year,
that's where the
baby.
last 2 seed gets interesting. I think you either pick Texas or Virginia.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Virginia. I just think once again you can't pick this early. You can't pick teams in the same division. So I feel like an ACC team has to be in there. And now we're on to the 3 seeds. This is where I would put Texas. Would you put Texas here at the 3 seed?
Yes, for sure.
I think Texas and UConn probably have to be here, unless you think Marquette's better.
Me personally, UConn's lost 6 conference games. I have them there at the 5 seed. Right now, you look at the Big 12. Big 12 is one of the best conferences, so you could have TCU and Kansas State and Texas all on the 3 line. I think they all are deserving of the 3 line. If not, you put UCLA up to the 3 and move one of them.
Yeah, I feel like we've
down
only
to the
had
4.
2 Pac-12 teams, so that's probably right. And then I think it's looking at it, it's probably gonna have to be Kansas State here because I think TCU's lost a few games, right? Yeah, they're 17-5 now. Yeah, I'm gonna go K-State. And then does Marquette deserve a? I mean, they're currently
I think Marquette's a 4. 3 is a little stretch for Marquette.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably got to be Baylor, right? It's either Baylor or Iowa State.
I'd go with Baylor.
Yeah, I'm going with Baylor. I think they'll just they have a pedigree to be a top team.
Yeah.
So, all right, now just seed 1 through 3. I just wanted to breeze through some stuff like that quickly. But I also did want to, because as everyone knows, I love making terrible predictions early on in the year. So I want everyone to predict their Final Fours right now.
Give me Michigan, Gonzaga, Houston, and then St. Mary's. Those are my Final Four right there. St. Peter's,
WC.
right? Or is that the St. Peter's, right? Sorry.
Wait, why are you?
Who beat Kentucky last year?
Just
Was it St. Peter's?
Yeah, they're
that's my final. That's my Final Four.
They're actually terrible this year.
It's my Final Four. Book it.
I was gonna say St. Mary's is a good pick. So I mean,
St. Mary's is a very good pick.
Oh yeah, they're weird. I somehow magically guessed that they were good this year. That's wild. Nah, Peacocks all the way, baby.
All right. Well, when they don't make the tournament, because they will not get a minority bid.
I don't know anything about college basketball this year. I just tried to be funny.
Adam.
Okay.
I'm Boilermakers making it for you.
I'll take Purdue. I'll take Houston. And you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna go Connecticut as an outside one, and as Xavier.
Xavier is very good. I like watching them. They're fun. Dallas.
So I was looking at some things, some stats, and other reasons. Right now, if you stop it, there's 3 teams. If stats provokes there has been a winner through these like formulas through the last, I believe, since like 2008. The winners come from these formulas. There's only 3 teams that fit this right now, and that's Houston, Tennessee, and Kansas. But I will not have all 3 of those teams in the Final Four. I'll have Houston and Tennessee in the Final Four. And then I'll also go with Purdue in the Final Four. I think their Final Four good. And then I always have to throw a sleeper in the Final Four. So I'm going to go with University of Miami.
Oh, that's Rishi's guy, Wong, baby. Some Isaiah Wong. Why was Rishi throwing Chinese letters into the... Interesting. Okay. I'm looking at Ken Palm. I'm attempting to figure out which teams I am a fan of. I think Houston has to be there because they're.
That's what I do every time around March, baby. Alex gets.
Houston's a top team. Tennessee's offense has been kind of concerning for me, so I think they could get knocked out by a team that no one expects. I like Purdue. I don't think the Zach Edey train is a sustainable offensive plan for against high level talent. So I think they get knocked out in like the Elite Eight, maybe even the Sweet 16 if they run into a team that can shoot the lights out. And a team that's hot, it's a tough matchup for them. But I think Alabama's definitely a certified team. They have scoring at every level of their bench, and they're a really good quality team. Hate saying it. I can't say I like Kansas enough. I think Arizona's a weird one. They're kind of off the board this year. People think they're not as good as they are. They are very good and they're very efficient. Actually, they've proven a lot of things. They have some tough losses in the Pac-12, but I think the Pac-12 is kind of an underrated market this year. And I think a team that is kind of growing into their own and will probably step up very close to tournament time are my Wildcats. I think they're going to get better as the season continues, and they're going to continue to prove that they can play a very specific style. They've been kind of hampered with injuries. So I'm going to go with Kentucky because I always do. Yes, Austin always puts that picture up anytime I pick anything Kentucky. And then we are on to the NBA. Dallas, please break the news. Bring it home, buddy.
Kyrie Irving has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets.
What's new?
Whoa.
I'm not surprised or shocked because you said Kyrie Irving. And pretty much anything can happen with that guy.
Gentlemen, I have a question. I am actually going to wipe what we had in the NBA playoffs. We had the NBA playoff predictions today. We're going to go to the trade deadline, and we're going to say who should be buyers and who should be sellers of these players. And I think the first one is Kyrie Irving. Who should be buying Kyrie Irving right now? All right, let me say NBA trade deadline buyers. Who is looking for Kyrie in this market currently?
Literally any team that doesn't have that he would be an upgrade for point guard at. Like, I don't know. I feel like the Lakers is probably going to be the one that everybody says, but I don't know if they have the assets to get it done.
The thing is with Kyrie, he has enough power to just tell the Nets where he wants to go. And the Nets are going to have to see what they want to do. We know Durant asked for a trade and they said no, and he's playing well now. What is the domino with Kyrie and if he gets traded and Durant as well? This team is 31-20 at 4th place in the Eastern Conference, and Kyrie wants out. It's very interesting halfway through the year. So, but for teams buying Kyrie, I'd argue very few. I don't think you want to deal with Kyrie Irving.
It's true.
Yes, but think about this. If you're a team, let's say you're a fringe contender right now, and you are looking for someone to take your team over that hump. Is Kyrie not the person you're looking at in this circumstance?
He's probably the best one available.
I mean, you would say that, but then it's argue, where does Kyrie want to go? Because half these trades with big names, they just pick where they want to go now.
I mean, maybe the Clippers.
Yeah, that would make sense. But
That's
I
the
think
only
the two LA teams.
I'm looking at
Yeah,
all
right
the
at the
teams
top.
in the NBA.
the
The only one that makes sense is the Clippers, but I don't know if they have enough to get in.
yeah,
That's the only issue. Because like who else? Like the Boston Celtics and Kyrie Irving? No, we saw how that went. Hell no, that's not happening. Denver.
They could
No.
use a starting point guard.
I think they can
Denver's
use
not going to
Jokic,
give
sure,
up no assets for Kyrie.
but they're not going to
Uh,
give up assets for it. The Milwaukee Bucks.
No,
I don't think
That's
Drew
not gonna
Holiday
work.
playing out of
because
his
like
mind.
the only teams that I can think of that have the assets, it would be like a good fit. I was like, what if you went to like the Orlando Magic traded for him? Like, I think that would be a great team, but Kyrie Irving's not going to the Orlando Magic, you know?
Like he's not going to go to Memphis.
Yeah,
Philly can't get him.
yeah,
Cleveland. Did Cleveland need him? No.
no,
I don't think Cleveland want him back. Sacramento.
they have Fox.
No, they have Fox,
They're
they
not
don't need
gonna.
Miami.
Oh,
Miami's the interesting one. for
Miami's
sure. Miami's
interesting.
like the one team in the East where I'd say that's probably. a
I think they
chance.
have enough to trade. They have enough money because they.
but he's not prime Michael
Made some
Jordan,
bad
so the Heat
contracts.
aren't giving up Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson for him.
I think they'll
Like,
give up Duncan Robinson. Maybe
Well-
not Tyler Hero, but they'll give up Duncan Robinson for him. They'll give up Duncan Robinson right now for a Dunkin' Donut right now. So
is he not good?
No,
I
he's-
haven't been-
He's been
being paid
terrible. His shooting
so
splits
much
are
money.
horribly
He's being
bad.
so much money to do nothing.
Darn,
it's
Duncan, what
pretty
happened?
It's pretty bad. They gave him
Ah.
a big contract and he's been shit ever since they got
What
him.
about the 76ers?
I don't think they can get him. But
Yeah.
No way they get Kyrie, Harden, and Embiid. I mean, they'd have to throw Maxey, Tobias,
Yeah.
and
Probably
I'd argue Thibault,
Yeah,
and a few first-round picks for Kyrie. And I really don't know how Kyrie, Harden. We already know Kyrie and Harden didn't really work out in Brooklyn. They're
Yeah.
gonna run it back in Philly too. I
yeah.
don't see that.
I would like to say I think there's a fringe contender here, and this is in a swap deal. The Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine has been on the market the whole time. They've been talking about Zach LaVine going, Zach LaVine moving on. Would Zach LaVine be a swap deal that the Nets would be possibly willing to acquire, you think?
That's interesting.
I'd say the Nets would definitely want him, but I just don't see Kyrie wanting to go to the Chicago Bulls team that's 10th
Yeah.
place in the East. That's
I mean, he would get the ball every single game. He would play the whole game. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, he's guy number one on that team. I mean,
I just think it's got to be Miami with the Clippers.
Yeah,
those
those
are
are
the
the
only
only
two
ones that
teams
make
that can do
sense
it.
to me. Yeah,
They're the only two teams that can do it. Miami
All right.
have the money from their player contracts to make it work. To pay Kyrie the easiest, probably out of any team in general. So I think it's probably Miami.
Austin, I just want to let you know Rishi's Chinese message on the in Chinese characters is Austin Anderson is a great representative of the Ohio State community.
thanks, Rishi.
So,
Really am. I've always been a huge fan. You know,
so speaking of Zach LaVine, he's been in a lot of NBA trade rumors as of recently closing in towards the deadline. Where do you think Zach LaVine would fit?
insane, like shooting, scoring, but no defense.
the Los Angeles Lakers.
He would be like, because I feel like there was
This
that one summer where they wanted to trade for Buddy Hield. Zach LaVine's like Buddy Hield on steroids.
That would be the team for Zach LaVine. I mean, obviously, if Kyrie went to the Bulls, they'd definitely give up LaVine. But this would be the trade for Westbrook as well. And Westbrook is obviously still on the market. And if the Lakers don't trade for Kyrie or LaVine, I don't see Westbrook moving. anywhere else because he's actually playing really good this year.
You know
So
where I
you
think
think-
Levine would go really, really well? I think the Utah Jazz.
I like that as well.
I could see him
Offense.
being. I think they need offense.
Pair him and Lowry again together.
Yeah.
Put him, Lowry, Jordan Clarkson, Sexton. You can trade Beasley. And you can put
Beasley
Beasley in the
and
trade.
Vanderbilt would be in that trade for sure.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's
And I
been
think
one
he
that's
gets-
been on the chopping block too. He's been rumored, a big name that's been rumored to a lot of different teams.
Isn't he just like Mr. 3-and-D?
Jared Vanderbilt, baby.
Mhm. I think they could get it done pretty easily. And I think it could be the thing, that might be the scoring push they need to like propel themselves up the standings and get a top 6 spot.
Hey, I'm in agreement there.
So any other fits for Zach LaVine other than the Nets, the Lakers, and the Jazz? Are there any outside contenders? Luka has been shopping for pieces for the Mavs, according to the GMs and according to the GM sources. I mean, would them taking on a big contract and possibly dumping someone else out of that conversation be?
I don't
think
know
the
if
Mavericks
Luka's.
are definitely interesting. for
I don't know
sure.
if the Mavs are the right team for him though. I don't know.
Tim Hardaway Jr. has not been very good this season. So,
But yeah, Zach LaVine is just I just think that when I think of what Luka needs in a co-star, I don't think it's Zach LaVine.
Like I feel like a Klay Thompson is somebody that Luka Doncic needs.
Mhm.
Someone like
I was
this,
just thinking Chris
someone like that.
Middleton,
Chris
someone like
Middleton
that.
would be great.
Yeah.
A shooter that can play defense on the edge, and if not, I'd argue another point guard. They should have paid Brunson. I think they should have paid Brunson. He fit really well with Luka last year. Them losing Brunson was a big loss for sure.
Yeah, I'm not
Alrighty,
a big fan of the Dinwiddie Luka Doncic combination.
Yeah, I love both of the players, but the combo is really tough. Right now.
Yeah,
I just personally, I just don't think, I think it just goes to the way Luka plays. I don't think there's anybody who truly will benefit by playing with Luka just because of how heliocentric he has to be in order to maximize his value. So it's like, I don't know. It would have to be someone who would never have to touch the ball. So I don't know. I don't know. Luka's tough.
Alrighty. I do have another player. We did speak about him briefly. West Brick has been rumored on the trade block as he's currently in the running for the 6th man of the year. We said the
Why?
Bulls and the Nets. Are there any other places that could use Russell Westbrook as a starting point guard, as a backup point guard? His contract is quite heavy. So, you could be running into luxury tax problems next year. In looking at it,
Westbrook's the favorite. That's
I think it's just he's a domino effect of the other players, like Kyrie,
Yeah.
Levine. I think he's just the Lakers would wait and see, can we go get one of those guys? Westbrook's going to be in the trade.
yeah.
'Cause if the Lakers make any move at all, Westbrook's in the trade.
Yeah,
It's-
it has
I don't
to be.
I don't know. You can't even say what team it would be because it'd be any team the Lakers can move him to if they
Yeah.
have a valuable asset.
I mean, I think, like I said, I think the Mavericks could be an interesting one. I think they're looking to just get someone off the bench here or possibly fill some roles. And maybe
I think that would be horrible for the Dallas
he's
Mavericks to get Russell.
but I mean, the
Yeah,
Dallas
that-
Mavericks,
I think that'd be horrible for the.
the Dallas Mavericks are ready to make a move though. That's the thing. Like they're pushing for the playoffs. So,
Russell Westbrook is not that move. That's for sure. They need more of a wing right now, I think.
all right. So I think the Bulls and the Nets are pretty steadily picked for, as we said, that would have to be a 3-way deal. Does anyone think the Heat have a chance?
I
I
would.
mean-
Oh,
I don't know why.
unless it's a 3-team deal.
Personally, and maybe this is just a haterade speaking. I don't think there's a good team that should want Russell Westbrook. Like he's bad now. He's a liability. Like
there's only one team that
Yeah.
I can see improving from having Russell Westbrook,
Mhm.
and it's the Bulls. I think that's the
Yeah.
only team that would have a chance of improving as him as a starter.
Mhm.
Otherwise, there's just not many teams that need a point guard.
Yeah.
Like there's not many. Like a lot of teams have really good point. Even some of the some of the bottom tier teams have good point guard with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
For Thunder and Pacers, like
those guys
they
are
don't
both
need one.
so good right now.
Like look what happened when the Pacers lost Tyrese. We became complete and utter shit. Like we were sixth. We were sixth like 2 weeks ago. Tyrese Halliburton's been out for like 2.5 weeks, and now we're back to what 11th.
We're in 11th.
We've won like one game since he's been out.
Yeah,
1-9 in our last 10.
Yeah, we can't. He is literally
Halliburton.
the entire team. It is Tyrese Halliburton or nothing. He is the entire team.
Hey man, Mathurin's pretty good.
Yeah, Mathurin's pretty good, but he's not ready to like be the guy this year, and we saw that. And I think I'm going into a Pacers rant. I feel like we were confused as Pacers fans because we saw the team playing really, really great basketball, scoring a lot of points. And I've gone to a couple games this year, and the atmosphere has been better than it's been in years in the stadium. And once Tyrese went out, we realized, oh shit, a lot of these players on our team aren't actually very good, aren't they? And I think we've kind of had a rude awakening that we are very, very far away from being a contender for even a top 6 playoff spot.
Yeah.
So
I have a few more players that have been rumored. OG Anunoby the Raptors have been deemed massive sellers at this moment. They are sitting at, I believe, 23-30. So they are trending towards the absolute garbage time of teams. So they are going to look to sell. OG Anunoby is up on the list. Siakam is considered an untouchable currently, just based on the trade valuations and what he means to that team. But OG Anunoby has been the one player they've had out on the block. Where would OG Anunoby fit?
Anywhere.
Yeah.
He's a contender. He's literally a glue guy. 3-and-D at his finest. He can score when needed. He's really going to be traded for the defense. I'd say any contender.
There we go. Yeah, that's the guy the Mavericks need to trade for. Anunoby.
Yeah,
he makes a lot of sense.
Great option.
Yeah.
Once Booker is back for Phoenix has some assets to trade for OG. The Celtics are involved. I've seen the Sixers, the Bucks, like all these teams are at the top of the conference page. So any team that is a true contender will go out and get OG. I mean, I know the Knicks wanted him as well, but the price tag for OG, you think it wouldn't be that big? It's pretty big. It's going to
desperation.
Yeah.
This is a desperation trade.
It's going to cost you at least 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like I said, we talked about Jared Vanderbilt. He's also been rumored. I only have 2 more rumored players. It's been very quiet trade deadline. Rui Hachimura being moved on was one of the biggest ones we saw. So where do you think Jared Vanderbilt is best suited, I would say, in a new city?
Just like the Nets, the Mavs.
I'd argue he can go where a contender is as well.
Yeah.
He could be a solid bench piece on a championship team for sure. So he's one of those guys that just fits, I think, wherever he goes. I think
the way the NBA is today, everybody needs an OG Anunoby, Jared Vanderbilt type guy. I just want to give this time the shout out that Robert Covington was the blueprint for, these kinds of guys, and he's always been one of my favorite players. So I just want to shout out Robert Covington if you're watching.
Finesser.
Yeah.
That's a bag finesser right there. And then the last one, he's been rumored, it seems like every single day, John Collins. The Hawks seem like they're ready to sell. John Collins has been struggling to get out of Atlanta for quite a while now. There's been rumors the Jazz have been the most interested team, but where else do you think John Collins would fit? / where could John Collins be of value to a team?
Who needs frontline scoring? Not a lot of defense.
John Collins is a very interesting one. He's not a 5-man, and argue he's not that great of a stretch four. So he's an in between player that I don't know. John Collins is in. I think the Hawks should just hang on to him. But if he gets traded, I could see a team like the Rockets. They love playing small. They could go in for John Collins. A few of those teams like to play small ball. I think he'd be a benefit of that.
I mean, yeah, John Collins is a very interesting one, and I don't see he's just it's a weird player because you don't really know like exactly what he is because yeah he's that two-way that he's good at some things in one category of a big man, but he's also good at and bad in other things, and it like evens itself out to this weird mix of a weird talent pool that he has. But like all I have to say, I don't really know a team that would really work. But all I have to say is we drafted TJ Leaf over him. So yeah.
Pacers moment, baby.
TJ Leaf over did Jarrett Collins make an all-star game?
John Collins? Yeah, I think he did. Maybe one.
Okay,
All-star game? No.
Yes, I think he did. I feel like he made one like
No.
2018.
John
No,
Collins was not.
He is
didn't
not an
all-star.
all-star.
He made the all-rookie team his rookie year.
Has anyone seen anyone else that they want to talk about? I really haven't seen much other than what I've seen.
No, I think
really.
we covered the big ones. I think now with Kyrie requesting a trade, I think that's going to be a big domino.
The biggest fish.
I think teams are going to hold until they see what goes on with him, which I think could be a Nets power play, and they really hold to the last minute of this deadline coming on Thursday. And we could see very little movement, and before, I'd say right until the deadline, then we could see some movement. But
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through a couple teams, seeing if there's anybody that's like really jumping off the page as like could be traded because his contract expires, and you're trying to it's not really not that good. So I think that's it, guys. That's all I have for that part. But now we are on to hot takes. We're going to recap last week's. I had Boston College beating Virginia. Did not happen. Oscar Sheboy having 20 points, 20 rebounds. Severe Wheeler with 10 points and 12 assists. Did not happen, dropping me down to a 2.5 and 14 record. Dallas had UAB upsets FAU, and Santa Clara beats the Zags. Did that hit?
Santa Clara lost to Gonzaga, but UAB did upset FAU.
Dallas now drops down to 3-12. Rishi, unfortunately, is still struggling after getting his one win a couple weeks ago. Purdue did not get upset in any of their games before this show, and he is sitting at a whopping 1-12. He's looking for that next season's draft pick so far. So on to this week's hot takes. Who would like to get the party started here?
Mine's about the Super Bowl. So should I save that for next
You're going
week?
to be on next week, then I would save it for Super Bowl week.
Okay, got it. All right.
Okay. I had one for the Super Bowl too.
If you're not going to be on, then you can lay it out. I'm just saying that next week is literally going to be the whole show is going to be Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, well, just in case I might not make it, I'll go with it. My early pick for Super Bowl MVP. And it's gonna. I put money on this one. I put a decent.
But he needed to hit, so we need it to hit.
Like we have to have it hit Travis Kelce. I've got to have this. I got to have the Chiefs win, and I don't know. Maybe Patrick Mahomes has 300 yards. Travis Kelce gets like 102 touchdowns. I think that's enough to give him the MVP as he has a good game. So, and receivers have been winning this award the past few years, not QBs. So, and who's the best receiver, I think, in this whole game? Travis Kelce. So that was my thought process. I put $20 on that.
My hot take was that the Chiefs wide receivers will have more receiving yards than the Eagles wide receivers in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know. But I think Hurts is still hurt. They're going to run the ball a lot. And I mean, it's not about obviously the Eagles.
Are you laying that hot take out?
Yeah. Obviously the Eagles have better wide receivers than the Chiefs do, but I think the Chiefs are going to have to pass to win this game. Whereas I can see the Eagles not really passing the ball a whole lot because of Hurts' situation and the advantage they have on the offensive line. So I don't know. I don't think it's I think it's a hot take, but yeah.
Dallas, would you like? I want to close this one out. I have I've cooked up a steamer.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
sticking with the college basketball train.
What could you possibly mean by that, Alex? Do you want to explain? Phrase? You want to explain that phraseology?
Steamer is this thing is the hottest take that I've probably fired off since my Kenny Pickett is the first NFL draft pick taken off the board. This is a multi-legged future parlay, gentlemen.
Boy.
I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to trade for a quarterback. I believe his name is Jimmy Garoppolo, and I believe he will be taken. And this will start off a chain reaction of a lot of trades. I believe then the Colts will trade up to get the number 1 pick.
Okay.
The Colts will take Will Levis.
Oh no. No, please no. Please no.
I just think there's so many things that point to Will Levis being taken. And then I believe this causes another trade frenzy. And some other team trades up with Houston, or I think Houston will actually draft who they want to take. And then I think another team that is going to end up actually trading up is I think the Jets aren't going to get Aaron Rodgers because I think that Las Vegas might trade for him. So I'm going to then I think Green Bay is trying to be conservative here. They've been very conservative. They've been behind Jordan Love. So I think the Jets then try and flip a pick and then they go and they get CJ Stroud. This is a very long shot take here. But I could see it happening.
I'd say the odds of this hitting are about the same odds of Kentucky winning the national championship in basketball.
Oh, don't worry. I took that hot take very early in the year. So, and it didn't pan. I had Kentucky making a SEC championship in football and Kentucky winning the SEC championship in basketball.
Have I been on since we're wrapping up, can I just like say Spencer Rattler proved the doubters wrong this year? I've just been wanting to say that the entire time.
Yes, I like Spencer Rattler. I think he's going to have a very good pro comp next year when he gets to the NFL. I would be interested to see who takes him. I think a lot of teams are going to, I feel like it's going to be, I think it's going to be tough to say because I don't know how good people are going to play next year. But if he plays just as well, I think he'll be the pick right below Caleb Williams probably. Dallas, bring her home because I laid out a future, so I am basically out for this week.
Yeah, so for this week, I'll just keep it short and sweet. Boise State upsets number 22 San Diego State tonight, and IU knocks off Purdue this weekend.
God, that is I would love to see it, but I also would hate to see it because I don't like IU. So, it's like kind of like it's a lose-lose situation. No matter what happens, I feel like I'm going to lose. Rishi did have a take. He said Jay Vanda. I think he means Jose Alvarado to Phoenix. Jared Vanderbilt to Phoenix. That's what he meant. Oh, all right. Rishi, I'm tossing that down for your hot take this week since you weren't on. You need some wins, man.
And if what you said happens and the Colts trade up for Will Levis, I'll be live streaming on my other channel because I do like Colts videos on there. I'll be live streaming the draft.
We live stream the draft too, so you can
if that happens, you will see a fury and I will destroy my house. if not myself before that.
I'm gonna trust me, Adam, your sadness will be accounted for in my PowerPoint presentation.
Austin makes a PowerPoint presentation for it's a mock draft, and it is the funniest thing ever. We didn't get through it all last year because we had a special guest, but this year it will be a good one. It was great to have you guys on. I know we ran a little bit longer, and I also got kicked off, but we'll be back next week with some Super Bowl coverage and We might even lay out I'm thinking possibly some NFL futures takes, because once the season wraps up, we got a lot to talk about. But it was great to have you guys on. And as always, have a safe rest of your day and go watch some sports this weekend. So
All right.
peace, y'all.
The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State. Definitely Ohio
fan.
State affiliated man. Austin
Yeah.
Anderson right there.
Big fan right here. All right.
See you guys.
Peace.
Get this stuff off. Oh shoot. Oh, I was the host.
Oh.
Whoops.